Yesterday was one of those maximum you don't know shit about football days. Just
football happens everywhere, man.
The home favorites, that doesn't mean anything. And of course, the Titans blow out the Rams without Derrick Henry. And of course, Von Miller doesn't mean anything to the Rams. And of course, Denver goes into Dallas, and Dallas has one of the weirdest results you'll see in Atlanta. Does that to Trevor Siemian, and it's like 9th on the list of surprises from yesterday.
The Bills lost to Jacksonville.
Yeah, and played a terrible game. And all of this is setting up. I saw somebody pointed this out on Twitter. I think it was Aaron Schatz, that Josh Allen stunk yesterday. Dak stunk yesterday. That's Mahomes throwing for like $160. Patrick Mahomes wins. We're talking about Jordan Love in that game, but Patrick Mahomes wins and throws for 160 yards. Kansas City, it's just weird.
Yeah.
They don't look like they're good at offense anymore.
The defense was very good yesterday, but
it's a terrible defense. Jordan Love was incompetent. LaFleur, who doesn't know what the word ivermectin, never heard it before because he's so busy coaching up Love. That's what Packer football is going to look like now that Favre and Rodgers are going to be gone. You're going to regret running him off.
Yes,
and you're going to have Jordan Love in that spot after Favre and Rodgers in 30 years of greatness at the position, and without Rodgers since 2017, Stugotz, they averaged 13 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this was a next-gen stat. The 0-16 Browns and the 0-16 Lions averaged more than that per game and didn't win a game.
But Dan, you're right. And we talked about it on the post game last night, but of all the storylines in the NFL, and there were certainly plenty of them, over the weekend, the biggest storyline is the fact that the Chiefs offense appears to be broken. And I can't explain it. I have no idea why. It's a good Packer defense, but they were broken before they played the Packers.
But what I was going to say, to finish the thought on football, is I think it was Aaron Schatz who pointed out, oh, my God, Tom Brady's lining up to win MVP again if Lamar Jackson doesn't take it from him. This is so many quarterback. Kyler Murray didn't play. Arizona wins without him. The favorites at home, it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
This season.
No.
And I want to talk about football and what a strange football day it was, but some news broke Friday after we were done with everything on two fronts that we didn't really talk about. Odell Beckham leaving the Cleveland Browns. He'll be picked up by somebody today. Deshaun Jackson's going to the Las Vegas Raiders, right?
Yeah.
They just
that happened.
Just want they want a deep threat to replace Ruggs, and that's the only one available.
Just give him his route tree.
Mm-hmm.
And Odell Beckham is being talked about most likely where? Because I imagine there are a good many teams who are thinking they might be able to resuscitate that.
He might have a waiver put in on him. Usually someone at this age in their career and at their cap number, they usually clear waivers the way Deshaun Jackson did. Not the case because Odell's cap number was restructured as a part of this negotiation. So there is chatter that he may actually get claimed. I know Russell Wilson, whose skill set, not only because he's an elite quarterback, really, I think, meshes with what Odell likes to do. Both guys like to extend plays and improvise on the run. That seems like a likely fit.
That would be good God. 3 receivers. You're talking about 3 different kind of receivers. No, and Lockett too. If Odell Beckham is, I don't know where the best situation is to resuscitate. Baltimore's a pretty good one.
Name their third receiver over in Seattle. Can you?
I'm got Golden Tate.
I think it's Swain.
Percy Harvin.
I think it is Swain.
Yeah, but Russell doesn't do a lot of the underneath stuff. When he targets the middle of the field, it's like those deep crossers. But I think Odell could really work there. I think.
We'll be curious to see where that ends up. But
you think Odell wants to be in a place where Metcalf is and where Lockett is? I think he wants to be the featured guy. I'm not certain he wants to fit in. I think he wants to be a guy. Right?
Good luck with that.
I just he wants to choose where it is he goes. He'd rather not be claimed.
Dan, you mentioned the 2 stories that pass, and there's time for Odell, but considering this shows public love for Aaron Rodgers, we can't take the Jordan Love angle to this. We got to crush Aaron Rodgers for a little bit. For lying I mean, his beliefs, his kooky conspiracy theories, it's all the same Kyrie stuff. Now, I know games have happened and time has separated some from this, and he's going to come back a conquering hero. But what he was doing on Pat McAfee's show was so dangerous. Like, people are he has standing in that community specifically. People look up to him. He's using the platform to espouse these crazy conspiracy theories, cherry pick whatever medical research he likes and dismiss others. This is a guy that is very critical of people that have no idea what they're talking about football, yet all of a sudden he's a medical expert. It was dangerous. People may get sick because of what he did. Just a terribly disappointing day because I was led to believe he was vaccinated. I usually mesh with Aaron Rodgers' general vibe, although over the last couple of seasons, he's left some breadcrumbs that I'm like, what is this guy truly about? And he showed me way too much of himself on Pat McAfee.
He talked too much. He actually probably would have been better served if he had turned down the volume on the arrogance and I know more than scientists and science and all the contradictions with referencing Martin Luther King when you sat that one out on Kaepernick on publicly, and this stuff was hidden, Stugotz. He didn't have this opinion publicly until he was caught lying. The opinion was in him, but was not in front of us.
Right.
All of these theories, what he decided to do by talking, I actually thought, just as a public relations move, because everybody's fighting over everything, that he might have been able to get away, if it had been less nonchalant, less flippant, with just, you know what? Allergies to 2 of these, sterilization, I'm worried, I want to have kids, and the Johnson & Johnson caused some clotting. You will have science debunk one after another, all of them. But if he had just kept it there, I think he could have bought himself as the State Farm salesman.
Right.
He could have bought himself something. But because he kept talking like that, Terry Bradshaw is calling him a liar. Terry Bradshaw is not exactly, you know, a liberal progressive guy.
He was a bit defiant. He really dug in. You're saying, hey, in that spot, just say, listen, if I gave you the impression that I'm vaccinated, my apologies. I am not. Here are my reasons. I'm allergic to this, that. That's it. That serves him better than what he did because what he did was terrible.
Okay, yes. And let me backtrack on this because I know what many of you want is just what I imagine Chris Russo did, even though I haven't heard it, but they've told me we have some great Chris Russo sound of him losing his mind on Aaron Rodgers. And just philosophically as a principle, because I know many of you will criticize me as being an apologist for Aaron Rodgers. I just want you to understand that my tone as innocuous sports columnist has never been to be rabid and outraged, even in times of life or death, at the clowns at the circus, whether it be Kyrie Irving or Aaron Rodgers. I just don't do outrage very much. So I know that some of you want this. I imagine the Chris Russo sound must be great. Him breathlessly just calling Aaron Rodgers a liar, because this is the easy place where we always get stuck and can't have the conversation afterward. It's too easy to be liar, liar, gotcha, liar. And then just disappointing and dangerous. And then the verbs and the adjectives get loaded, Stugotz, in a loaded time when we're fighting with each other. And you can't have a conversation about this shit reasonably anymore.
Is it too easy in this case, or is it just the truth?
And everybody, this is the thing. If you're someone who drags Kyrie Irving, yes, drag Aaron Rodgers with the same intensity. What he did, if not, what he did was probably worse. Like, if we want to do comparison.
Kyrie didn't tell me that he was vaccinated.
Kyrie had his name on what he thought.
Yeah.
And he allowed you to call him a loon. The State Farm guy was hiding. And that's why people are pissed. Now, I'm not pissed at him. I wish I would apply the same words, dangerous, selfish, reckless. I'm not pissed at him because he doesn't raise my kids. Like, right. I don't have kids, and so I don't know what these emotional connections are that others have to their role models and where betrayals are, okay? And I've never been call the guy a bunch of names. If you want to drag him, use the same words you use with Kyrie. Like, it's the same realm of things. I like him because he's interesting and he's a thinker. And I like that he's a thinker, even if I don't like what he's thinking, because I like the guys who are interesting. I like Kyrie, too, as an interesting personality who creates great content in this stupid world where we work in the circus tent, that every time I want to talk about something societal, there they are for me as the body shields that ESPN wanted me to wear. Here, this is ratings fodder. This is content gold. McAfee, and I am jealous that that's where Aaron Rodgers went, but I would have asked him a different set of questions. I would not have kissed his ass in that spot. But McAfee is not a journalist in the traditional sense, and he's great, and that has been a great place for both of them. But even McAfee was stifling a laugh when Joe Rogan was summoned. Like, put his hand over his mouth because he knew what was going to explode. And McAfee's the wrestling entertainer. Like, that's a perfect combination of content, and I'm jealous of it. But I wanted to be in there asking those questions. I wanted to ask Aaron Rodgers those questions. Like, what are you talking about? Every time you've had surgery, are you asking the doctor about what it is that they're putting in your body? Like, what are you thinking here that you know more than science and scientists that you just got over here, read some things on YouTube, and internet rot brain makes you think that somebody can be a scientist on YouTube?
I haven't watched the entire McAfee interview. I've just digested that through the clips, and all the clips are just of Aaron talking. I've seen the clip where McAfee kind of stifles a laugh, but I think when Aaron Rodgers feels comfortable around you and gives up that as an A+ grade from an interviewee, and I'm sure you'll have him back. And because he has that relationship and he gave Aaron Rodgers that platform, then he can have something closer to that interview. It's a longer play with Pat McAfee.
It's smart.
Well, he has him every week, doesn't he?
Yeah, so next week he'll ask him about this fallout from his interview. The fact that Aaron Rodgers wants to reveal that much of himself on that platform, it's the only place that he feels comfortable doing so. That's Pat McAfee doing his job exceptionally well.
I will tell you that this show also has a relationship with Aaron Rodgers, and I have requested him for this week. So, Dan, perhaps you will have the opportunity to ask the questions you wanted to ask.
You're part of the woke mob, Dan.
Yeah,
well, that's the part of it where I really do think that he could have gotten, if he was taking advice from PR people, which I don't imagine that he was, because he created an unholy mess for that franchise. Like, the coach is not equipped for that press conference and looked like a child with adults, like just didn't know what to do. And then you saw what he looks like, Stugotz, because good God, the power play in Green Bay that we've been obsessed with this season, that's what it's going to look like if you don't have that dude. Like, that franchise has been relevant because of that dude for 15 years, and everything else is a clown show. Everything else. Like, he's been dragging them to 10 or 11 wins. It's why I admire him so much. I'm like, good God, the way that position is played is not like that. You don't have that mastery of the position. You don't in real time discover, you know what? Wow, turnovers, market inefficiency. I'm not going to make any of those as a quarterback anymore. Did that 5 years before anybody else. All this math in the sport that we're doing, Aaron Rodgers figured it out 5 years before anyone else. Hey, you can't turn the ball over the way Mahomes does. Not, you can't even be Mahomes and turn the ball over like that. And so he carried that franchise from Favre. The hardest thing. Look what's happened to Miami since Marino. It's the hardest thing to carry it after the guy.
Right. He
carried it after the guy. And now they disrespect him with all the Jordan Love stuff that you just saw yesterday. Oh, that's going to take a while. If it ever materializes at all. And he's going to take that power to the next 3 or 4 stops, and he's going to be more famous than he was, right? Because it goes popular, unpopular, more popular. Like, now he's got the narrative. Now he can go win a Super Bowl somewhere as somehow, in my lifetime, polarizing Aaron Rodgers.
But in the now, Dan, it is so disappointing. And it's not just Aaron Rodgers, but I think he has set the bar pretty high for himself as a guy who tells the truth, okay? He didn't do it here. But it doesn't stop there. It's the organization, it's the NFL, and specifically the organization that allowed Aaron Rodgers to trample that organization and do whatever it is he wanted to do. No, Dan, he put
except when he wants to not draft his replacement. Like,
but Dan, put a mask on. Like, don't tell me you're vaccinated. You are putting people in harm's way.
Stugotz, this entire season has been. This entire offseason has been about Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to exert my power over every part of this organization, and all you guys are going to do is get me Randall Cobb. Okay. I'm going to be a quarterback. I'm going to be something I've never been in my career. During my bye week, I'm going to be the distraction.
But doesn't it seem like he's surrounded himself with sycophants at this point? because he clearly has gotten mad at every media publication for any version of criticism of him. He's gotten mad at his organization because they've tried to draft his replacement. He has clearly gotten to this place where, as a, quote, thinker, I thought Jonathan Jones of CBS did a great piece on this, where, wait, hang on a second, why do you get to be the thinker? Because you're the critical thinker, because you're the one who's not taking the vaccine and you've come up with some alternate way to treat yourself. He thinks of himself in this way where he's immune to criticism to the point where he thought it was normal, cool, and on the level to do an interview with Pat McAfee in which he unveils the full allotment of anti-vax conspiracies
while
on a massive platform.
While saying he's not anti-vax.
And he, like you have to work yourself into the point where, as a famous quarterback, you're comfortable saying complete and utter nonsense in public, acknowledging that the NFL called you a quack because you're a quack. And like the idea that he's built himself up to this place, to me, suggests that he's surrounded himself for months with people who, oh yeah, Aaron, yeah, I listen to Joe Rogan too. Horse dewormer? Yeah, I'm in too. Like, he's clearly built this environment where it's only people who praise him that are around him.
This is going to sound like a joke, but serious question. Do you think he left that interview with McAfee and thought, I killed it? Because I think he does.
He certainly put himself forward in the way that he wanted to.
Yeah.
Like, he perfectly set forth his anti-vax while saying he's not anti-vax. It was pure textbook anti-vax. He put forward exactly what he wanted to, which is, yeah, I'm gonna make even more mainstream than Joe Rogan did this view about vaccines, this view about treating COVID.
I don't think he thinks that went poorly. As soon as it ended, I mean, now he might, but when it ended, I'm sure he's like, that's what I needed to do.
All of this becomes the crosshairs of the woke mob, but when you say sycophants, we are viewed as being among them. Because in cultivating his identity as a thinker, I have been complicit. I like talking to him about going to visit the Dalai Lama. I like talking to him about how he goes to the Hoffman Institute for therapy because he wants to understand where his patterns are in his family life, to understand why it is he hasn't loved himself more.
Not we. I said he was tanking, and he likes me a lot. I mean, he does.
And I understand why people are interested in our alignment with him, especially, and this is getting exhausting, this part of it, right? Every time, something like Masvidal happens, we like Masvidal, and then Masvidal proves to be QAnon, and we're like, oh, come on, we like you. We just want to do a show with you. It's funny. You're an entertainer. Why can't we just not do the whole overthrowing of democracy thing with, child-eating pedophiles? Can you stop just short of that?
And he's picking and choosing. He cited some study about how it's bad to work out with a mask on because of oxygen flow. It's like he trusts those studies. Okay. But the scientists who are studying the vaccine, that's not good enough for him.
And so this here right now, people listening to this, many of them, not just trolls, many of them, I want this part to be heard, because I understand when Aaron Rodgers raises his hand and says, not in my body, I will choose what goes in my body. I believe we all agree with that. And you listening to this, disagreeing with us as the echo chamber of soft wokeness, I just want you to understand, you don't believe in freedom more than I do. We might believe in it an equal amount, but you don't get to believe in freedom more than I do. And as we continue to argue about this stuff, and you want me to call Aaron Rodgers names, I want people to get along better than this. I don't want to fight about Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to fight around Aaron Rodgers. I'd like to enjoy Aaron Rodgers entertaining me on Sundays as much as you do, but we just left ESPN because politics and sports couldn't coexist, and I'm over here independent with my crew being like, can you leave us a fuck alone? Like, just leave us alone. We want to be talking about sports too. And this shit keeps happening at every turn where you can't avoid Kyrie Irving and the fight that springs around him. When we actually want to get closer to enjoying sports right now, I don't want to be fighting with everybody over this stuff.
It's different with QAnon, which had real life consequences. With COVID, this is a show that has had 2 family members pass away from the disease, at least 2, from that virus. These are real life consequences, and it's real dangerous. And I want to continue hearing your thoughts, but I also don't want to lose sight of what the goal is here, is to have Chris Russo sound. So I will play just a flash of sound so you know how this sound begins, and then you can continue on with your thought. No, just a little sampler. No. There you go.
Oh, my God. I need more. I need more.
No, this is how it starts.
Oh, my God.
What do we think he's going to say? Where was what?
Where is somebody who needs to be responsible and blamed for this?
But that is the appropriate tone, I think, from Mad Dog.
Well,
Russo.
this is Bradshaw did it. Bradshaw got so much applause for just calling Aaron Rodgers a liar. Yeah.
Bradshaw doesn't like Aaron Rodgers. There is something going on there. He has been anti-Aaron Rodgers for a while.
I actually thought the Football Night in America show did a good job last night. Tony Dungy and Drew Brees made a good point of like, well, if you're the quarterback of a team and you're unvaccinated, there's other quarterbacks who are unvaccinated. But then if you're going to go to a Halloween party and get COVID and now you're going to miss at least one game and you're in the hunt for a one seed, just from a football standpoint, it's incredibly irresponsible. You should be doing everything in your power to not get COVID if you're unvaccinated.
But at least Kirk Cousins told us he was unvaccinated.
And possibly Lamar Jackson also.
Right.
Carson Wentz wears a mask. Lamar Jackson wears a mask.
But Aaron thought he was safe. Like, that's what he told us. He thought he did what he needed to do to be safe.
And the NFL called him a quack and said you had to follow these protocols, and he didn't.
Because he thought that he knew better.
Well, okay, hang on a second.
Solution.
No, but he followed
what kind
them.
of rationalization is that?
He followed them behind closed doors. Every report that we've seen is that in the building, he puts the mask on, but in front of the public, he's got to put the public face on. Oh, no, I'm good. I'm immunized.
He was
Weird,
shying
man.
away from the criticism.
Do you think that he was putting on the mask to avoid fines or avoid punishments of some kind?
Well,
because they told him you have to do this.
Okay, but I thought this was some great act of civil disobedience in the realm of Martin Luther King Jr. He's got to summon him in his rant.
Yeah.
Oh, some great act of civil disobedience, and the quarterback meeting room put the mask on. Like, come on.
The part of it that is inconsistent at best is, and man, Stugotz, when we can catch you on this one in sports, we love tearing down the heroes here. I don't know how he has rationalized to himself that he wasn't lying to us, but I don't know that there's much of a greater crime, Stugotz, honest to God, that an athlete of that kind of fame can do to harm his brand as a guy who's in the State Farm commercials as a representative for Americana than being dishonest. Like the best that you can say about it is he's got a flimsy camouflage for rationalizing away the inconsistency of like, no, dude, you were hiding with these opinions and this stuff, and you were wearing a mask. You were disguised in immunized, the word, and these opinions didn't make their way, unlike Kyrie, inconsistent though he is, flailing though he is, flat earth though he is, and you say you're somehow better because you're not a flat earther. You were hiding. He wasn't. You were concealed. He was not. So right. I don't want to do comparison shopping on their morality.
There's no comparison. One told us and one didn't.
I would just like for people to get along better and be less selfish and not be this divided and not fight over it. And that's not helping. What happened there is not helping because I don't need contrition for him. Lord knows I do not need contrition from him. But if you're just trying to do me the courtesy of playing out the public relations on it, all you had to do was stop talking a couple of notes before MLK and Joe Rogan and conspiracy talking points. You could have actually bought yourself if you cared about that stuff. And it's just disappointing to me that, now you're honest. Now you can be honest, and it's the woke mob's fault. Now it's my fault that you said immunized and you were wearing a mask. Now you can be flippant in a relaxed atmosphere. That part really bummed me out.
I feel him slipping away. I mean, I put an interview
I'd
request
love to talk
in.
to him.
No, but I feel it's slipping away. I do.
But this is the thing, though. I don't want
what Woody pointed out. He has a circle that reinforces his beliefs. And maybe with this segment, we've lost that.
He hugged me, though. I mean, I thought he was vaccinated. He wasn't. He hugged me. He brought me in closer.
Hugged him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wait a minute.
Really deep
wait
embrace.
a minute.
Yeah. And I'm upset. I am.
I
upset
didn't realize.
about it.
I didn't realize that Stugotz got that close to the bosom of the line.
Oh no, there was a hug, and then he brought me in even closer.
This is the part that bums me out, though. I don't want to fight with that dude, and I don't want to get aggregated fighting with that dude. And it's not because I don't want to lose the relationship. It's because I want to stop doing the math on all these things. Can we keep having Jericho on or not? It's kind of fun. He's a wrestler. Oh, he believes them things. Oh, damn it. We need to talk about that. Oh, no, we just need to draw the line at QAnon, Satan worshiping, eaters of children. That's the line. We could go, just don't cross that line. Oh, God damn it, Masvidal. Why'd you have to cross that line?
He got on the bus, too.
Can you just not, like, I want to continue to have a good, healthy, and in spots, I would love the stimulation of combative relationship with Aaron Rodgers if he wants to do freedom thinking things, but I do think McAfee's got the better play. It's a better, it's a better play. Just let Aaron Rodgers come and talk and don't ask him those difficult things.
You think Aaron looks at me and sees a little bit of himself in me? I mean, any chance at all? Like, I thought he was closer to you in terms of personality and stuff, but perhaps he's me. He's Stugotz, and there's a little bit of Stugotz in everyone, Dano.
Love this show. Love this show. How does what Aaron Rodgers said on the Pat McAfee show impact us directly?
I'm worried
What does
about
it say about us?
But this is what people have been dragging us for the last, or me, really. It's not us, right? They want an explanation of me for our friend. They want me to explain. You explain what Aaron Rodgers thinks. I mean, he just explained it to you. He's been, the woke mob did force him to be more honest in that interview than we have heard on this subject before this.